Tonight on Unsolved Mysteries Rewind, two friends get together to discuss episodes of their favorite television show, Unsolved Mysteries. Will they find answers? Will anyone care? You may be able to solve a mystery.
Hello and welcome. This is Mark, and you're listening to Unsolved Mysteries Rewind. I have on coming back to the show, Diana. How you doing? How's everything going?
I'm great, Mark. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, it's awesome. I had such a good time talking to you last time, and we're going to try to do a couple episodes tonight, so that's even more exciting, I think.
Oh yeah, totally.
The last case that we covered, you brought to the table, but you also brought this one to the table. Why don't I just give you the show?
Well,
there you go. It's yours.
This was a case that stood out to me on the show when I would look at several cases when I would watch reruns of the show all the time,
right,
trying to hope for some updates or some progress. This was actually this is one of those cases. So Leroy Drieth, he was born on 16 January 1950, oldest of four children. He was killed on May 30th. Almost
2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to release this on or around that point.
Very cool.
It's not a happy day exactly, but it was Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
Yeah. I mean, Memorial Day is a good day to release stuff, but it's just sometimes when the stars align for certain dates, we have to kind of run with it. But yeah, whenever I see the name Leroy, I was mentioning before, I think of the meme, Leroy Jenkins, which if you just type in Leroy Jenkins, you're going to find this probably 20 years old now of this screen grab. It's a video game, and all these people are, like some people, they play these games really obsessively and they get into teams.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of like a World of Warcraft type of game. I really don't know which one it is. And they're all like, all right, we're going to go in there and we have we have this spell and that spell and all this kind of stuff. And they're like, they have this really detailed plan. And then you just see Leroy just kind of run in there. And he just screams his name. He goes, Leroy Jenkins. And he basically destroys, everybody gets just wiped out because of him, and they're just berating him. It's like, wow. Leroy, you are so stupid.
I have never heard of that.
Yeah, I recommend it highly. Just the way he yells it is just really funny. I wish I had a little clip of it, but
note to self.
Yeah, note to self. Future episodes with Leroy's. But yeah, as you mentioned, Leroy Drieth. This is kind of one of those weird ones I remember seeing when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And I do recall there being an update at the end and me thinking, oh, cool. What's this update? And it's like a $5,000 reward. It's like, that's not really an update.
No, it's not.
It's just that there's money offered for any information about this poor guy's death.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's see. So he begins dating a girl named Patty. Patty is Latina. That seems to be a big part of it.
She is known only as Patty. Not a lot of information is really released about her.
Yeah, there may be a name that I could throw out there that may be associated to her. I don't know for sure. It kind of there's a name that is floating around. Let's see if I can find it. I had it here somewhere.
Yeah, there wasn't really a lot of information about this case.
Maybe Lujan, Lujan. It's possible, just not really sure. But this is in Platteville, Colorado. So I don't know what the racial makeup of Platteville was at the time. I think of Colorado as a very white place in general. But I could be wrong.
depends on where you go. This actually, I think this took place in Mead, Colorado.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Where's he was from Platteville.
Possibly.
This took place. Yeah, you're absolutely right. This took place in Mead in Weld County. But yeah, his family lived in Platteville, Colorado.
Okay.
I think they're pretty close.
I was going to say, how far is Platteville from Mead?
I don't know, but I'm about to find out. Platteville,
yeah, right.
Colorado. Go to a map. Always like looking up these towns
Weld
I've never
County.
heard of. Mead, Colorado, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bum, 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 bum. Oh yeah, we're talking like 15-20 minute drive.
All right, it would make sense how they knew. They probably went to school together. Makes sense how they knew each other.
Yeah, the towns are right next to each other. You know,
yes,
they might have even had the same school district or something like that. But the reason why I bring up the racial makeup of the area is being that I consider it to be kind of white. That may be one of the reasons why Patty's family kind of stood out.
Right.
Or maybe it's more of a melting pot than I think. But yeah, so that being said, she's 16.
Well, especially back then, because this was almost 60 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, this is like 1 year. This is like the spring before Woodstock. To give you an idea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because Woodstock would be the following summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is very true.
And that's kind of what I was thinking, because we see this picture of him. He's kind of clean cut looking. I'm like, but, Hendrix was out there and Sly and the Family Stone and all these cool bands and, people are doing a lot of drugs. And it made me kind of wonder, it's very possible that drugs had something to do with this. I don't know exactly if it did, but you would think, a lot of people are experimenting with drugs at this period of time.
Oh, at the 60s? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, especially in this specific point in time. So let's see. So she's 16, he's 18. It's not that big of a difference. I mean,
no, it's really not. No.
Yeah. And so let's see. He attended a party at his home, but it actually says here, I have a back and forth that she was 16 and it was 17. I don't know. Maybe when they first started dating.
Yeah.
I think
maybe it was like a
go on.
18-month difference. It may be like a just over a year difference.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that is completely age appropriate and it's totally fine for me, in my opinion. So,
yes.
So they attended, they also got engaged. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yes, they were engaged. Yes.
Yeah. So Patty and Leroy were engaged to be married at 17 and 18 years old. So that's
I think that was far more common back then.
I mean, maybe it was definitely far more common than it is today.
Agreed. Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it we always hear about, high school sweethearts and that type of thing. So, and I guess if I looked at this entire picture, right, I would imagine that Patty's family wasn't so crazy about Leroy.
That seems to be how that is the case. Yes, that there was a big bone of contention with the fact that he was white and she was Hispanic. Yes.
And I guess that that's flat out considered interracial at that point, right?
Yes. Which
is kind of crazy. I mean, from my point of view, probably from yours as well. It's being in New York, it's kind of like, I don't know, I consider Spanish people, or I just call them all Spanish, like, whether they be Puerto Rican or Colombian or Dominican Republic. Yeah, I mean, I'm part Colombian, and that's where my Jewish heritage comes from. So it's kind of like I'm a whole weird melting pot. And
right,
I consider everyone white, even black people. You're white, so I'm completely colorblind. But that being said, with this small town, I'm imagining there would
about
be
200, less than 200 around this time. It was about less than 200 people was the population.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, this is a tiny little town. Everybody knows each other. And
exactly.
I wonder if it was a scandal even that Leroy was dating her, but I would hope not. The thing is, we can't find a photo of her. Of course, like I'm sure you scoured I can barely.
Oh no, I found a photo of her.
Oh, you found a photo of Patty?
Yeah, so she's actually she's actually very light skinned.
Would you mind sending that to me? Just because I did not see that.
Sure.
So
sure, yeah. Let me see if I can dig that up. Yeah.
But the night that this all goes down, Patty's family is having probably a graduation party, I would imagine, right? Or Memorial Night.
Probably a Memorial Day barbecue, Memorial Day barbecue at her house, yes.
Yeah.
And drinking.
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine there'd be some, partying going on, and things kind of get a little bit out of hand.
Mm-hmm. Somebody brings up, somebody is drinking and they lose their filter and they decide to start an argument. Or, there was a conversation, one thing led to another, and there was an argument. Yep, here it is right here.
Yeah, and so apparently the argument happens. Leroy gets into his Chevy Impala, which is kind of a cool car at the time, especially.
Chevy Impala.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. It's either that or something similar, and got into the car, and less than 2 blocks later, crashed head-on into a tree. Prior to that, he veered through a stop sign. But yeah, 2 blocks later, crashed head-on into a tree near the Mead High School.
Yes. I tried to find the exact, again, it was hard to find information on this case. I tried to find the exact location, maybe do a Google map. Couldn't find it, but from the information, he was at the party and left in his car after an argument and drove off, and about a block and a half later, crashed into a tree.
Yeah.
I just sent you the picture.
Oh, great. I don't know why it's so important to me. Oh, you know what? Maybe I did see this picture. But either way, I'm glad that you just sent it. But that's not Leroy, right?
I think that is Leroy, actually.
This looks so much older to be 18. I have a 17-year-old. My kid's going to be 18 in a few weeks, and I don't see it. And he would be possibly under 18 in that photo, because we don't know when that was taken. That's just
right. I think they were dating. Well, at the time of his death, they were dating for about a year. People
age differently in the 60s, early.
Agree. Yes.
Yeah, he probably had a 3-pack a day habit or something. But yeah, so leaving skid marks about 69 feet. This is where things get kind of weird. Apparently, his father and brother heard about the crash.
Yeah, how did they? I wonder how they heard about that so quickly, because they were on the scene pretty quick.
But I get the impression that they were the first ones on the scene.
That's the impression I got as well in the reenactment. Yeah,
right. It's almost like, hey Charlie, did you hear about Leroy? He's in an accident.
And how close did they actually live that they were actually able to
at least 5 minutes
hear about it and get there before the ambulance got there?
Here's the thing: at a minimum, it has to be 5 minutes. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, you have to at least put your shoes on or something like that. So it's a very strange thing. Do you know what time of the night this happened? I could not find it.
I couldn't. So he got to the party around maybe 5 p.m. or so.
Yeah.
Who knows how long he was there? So maybe about 7:30, 8 p.m. This happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the ambulance came to, they called the ambulance. The ambulance came to the scene, and a lot of bystanders came to the scene. Yeah. So as they were loading his body, they were wondering what happened. And there was a bystander on the scene who said, "Oh, yeah, he got into a fight with his girlfriend and said he wanted to kill himself."
Right. And what happened? Oh, okay. I guess he killed himself. So
yes, so they loaded him in. He later died at the hospital.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
he's still
the
alive.
Paramedics. He was barely. He was barely. They said at the scene he was barely conscious. Then he ended up dying from his injuries at the hospital.
Here's what I don't get is the amount of, because later on we learn a little bit more about what transpired here.
Mm-hmm.
But wouldn't there be a tremendous amount of blood?
Probably. I would guess.
Like all over the car, everywhere.
All over his clothes.
Yeah,
I would think so. Yes.
And one of the things that I catch myself doing is blaming law enforcement, and I really don't. No. I am an advocate for law enforcement, but
Same.
In these small town worlds, things are a little bit different. And I actually
completely agree with you. I also blame law enforcement. I have so many questions, like why weren't the police there?
But I hate that because there's a great movie. It's called Copland. Have you ever heard of it?
Never heard of it.
Independent late 90s movie. It has like a lot of really big stars in it, like Harvey Keitel, Sylvester Stallone. It's an independent movie. I think it cost like nothing to make. And you have just a wonderful cast.
Real gems.
And what it is, it's about a small town right outside of New York City. And all of the New York City police officers live there. And Stallone plays like a small town cop. So he's like the cop of the cops. And things kind of go to hell. And it's kind of like, there's a lot of corruption going on. It's a really, really interesting thing. But, I don't want there to be like any type of question of whether or not I have friends who are police officers, and I don't have an issue. And I've never met law enforcement that I thought was like on the take or anything like that. Of course it happens. People are people. It's corrupt.
There's some bad apples in every profession.
But I think in these small towns, it's almost like they don't want to fill out the paperwork. They don't want to like go to the next biggest town.
Maintain the status quo, just like show, we saw that. We knew right away it was this. So, cake's closed.
Yeah, it's like, it's Memorial Day. Like, the sheriff's drunk, it's, I don't know, not really, but,
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past that.
But it is a holiday weekend it's a holiday. It's just a really upsetting thing to think about.
So they tell the coroner this, and it's the Boulder County. So it's Mead was in Weld County, but it's like right on the border of Boulder County. So it was the Boulder County coroner that actually ended up handling this. And the hospital, like the paramedics told the hospital people what the bystander had said on the scene. And then the coroner heard this information and determined, no autopsy necessary. Did they even take the name of the bystander?
No, I got the impression, and this is also something that I've learned to not really follow too closely, is Unsolved Mysteries will very often mislead you with information. So that bystander could have been somebody, like somebody specific. And that way, if you do call with information, you would know, all right, so who was that bystander? And
but that was never recorded.
That we know of.
Somebody at the scene that we know of, right? Yeah, there was just they said, a bystander at the scene said that he got into a fight with his girlfriend. He was going to kill himself. Oh, open and shut.
So it's like legitimately hearsay.
It is
upsetting, actually.
100%.
That a human being is like, well, we'll learn a little bit about what's about to happen. But, so yeah, they the parents, I guess, find out, and everyone's upset, and that's it. He committed suicide, right? So, I know I talked about this last time we talked, the difference between a coroner and a medical examiner. I think it's a little more relevant in this case. So the Boulder County, the coroners they're elected officials, and that was the case in 1968 in Boulder County. Well, in Colorado, it's still to this day, it's still elected position. And the difference between coroners and medical examiners is a medical examiner has to be a certified physician. A coroner does not. I was looking at even to this day, I was looking at some of the job qualifications to be able to run for county coroner. You need to be over 18. You need to not be a felon. So, Mark, could I be a coroner?
You or I can get a job as a coroner.
My wife said I stole her heart. Is that a felony? So bad joke.
Were you arrested for it?
It's a dad joke. So that's really interesting.
And the coroner, in this case, the Boulder County coroner, he was coroner for a long time.
I would always thought of a coroner as like somebody who is specifically qualified with a specific set of talents.
You would think that. You would think that. But no, that's not the case. It's surprisingly little qualifications it takes to be a coroner. And I doubt there are people who are really standing in line for a job like that. I can never do a job like that.
That is really interesting. Well,
in
any of those election jobs people are online for, you know?
Mm-hmm. But so the coroner in this town was actually they had a mortician business. How fitting. And he served in that role for 25 years. And yeah, it was a family-run mortician business.
See, I wouldn't think that would be totally uncommon, but I think that it would be a conflict of interest to have business with that, unless you're the only game in town.
Yeah, I know. But also, too, how much... I know these days coroners are usually a full-time job with I think maybe a decent salary, like maybe $75,000, $80,000 a year. But at this time, may have only been like a part-time job, if they even got paid anything for it.
Especially a small town like this.
Yeah, small town. And well, this is also puzzling. Sometimes coroners got paid on a case-by-case basis. So they're deciding they don't want to do an autopsy on him.
Yeah, commission.
Yeah, so you're giving up a commission. So that maybe they just were only paid a part-time job, like a part-time small salary, and didn't want to do the extra work.
So if you were to say that, Patty's dad actually worked for, the coroner, I wouldn't be surprised. I have no evidence. No, I have no evidence of this.
So no, that's some speculation, and like that's something I've wondered. But we can probably get into some theories later. Yes,
but there's definitely a lot of heads that look the other way. There's no doubt about this.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Because they ruled his death an auto suicide, and
and that's it. And again, it's based on secondhand reports from an ambulance driver. And EMTs, they're wonderful. They save lives every day, but they're not they shouldn't be taking statements from witnesses. And
or
then
the
delivering
should be followed up. They should do the due diligence. If somebody said that at the scene, somebody should follow that up. Like, oh, did you actually say this? And get more details. Like, when did they say it? What happened?
And so there's no autopsy, there's no scene photos, there's no thorough interviews with anyone. And Leroy's family obviously immediately doubted this. They knew their kid. They're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and the police, the DA, just refused to look into it. He was just like, get over it.
His mom kept pushing into the late 60s. I think her name was Frida.
Yes.
Yeah, Frida.
For Frida, yes.
She kept requesting an investigation, but the Weld County DA dismisses all of it.
I know.
How frustrating. I mean,
I
couldn't imagine. So
I wonder how busy they actually were that they didn't want to look into this. What were their motives?
But there is a sister, Vickie. Good old Vickie Marlin.
She was 11 years old when her brother died.
Yeah. Vickie, if podcasts existed, she would have been one of the people to start them. Around late 80s, 1988, she started, she began an independent investigation into the suicide.
Yes, she went to the coroner's office and there was new staff there. There was a whole new management. And to her surprise and probably somewhat relief, they also found that suspicious.
Yeah, it was all poorly handled. And
only two other cases of auto suicide. And I was doing a little research on this. Auto suicides, they're only account for, give or take, like they're very rare, like that they're actually proven, but like maybe about 3% of total suicides. And they're supposed to be thoroughly investigated. There's a lot, like pictures taken, were there skid marks? You mentioned were there mechanical issues with the car?
Mm-hmm.
Toxicology, was the person drunk?
Is there blood everywhere from a gaping wound?
Was there their behavior beforehand? And no, there was no investigation.
But
into this
in the early 90s, I mean, she's already a couple years into it. She starts interviewing neighbors, and she actually places a newspaper ad asking for more information.
Incredible. Yeah. She went and talked to neighbors, and so one could say, well, that she went to talk to neighbors 20 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe their accounts or their memory of that day could be a little fuzzy, but no, I think a day like that, it would probably stick out to them because it was an accident. Somebody died.
Well, she finally gets together with Patty. And
she had to actually put an ad in a paper looking for her.
Yeah. And she got her. So, and
she did.
And Patty's like, she denied the suicide threat. She provides very limited info,
happened.
But she's just like, that didn't happen. So that's shocking.
But she was also very hesitant to talk about it.
I would be too, because it's probably like, well, especially with what we learn, she's probably thinking, is my dad going to be in trouble, or whoever, committed
whoever did it.
Yeah.
But she was still living in the town. Like, was she remarried at that point? And she was probably still close with her family.
This is 20 years later. More than 20 years later. It's kind of, and you know how difficult it must have been for her to move on and stuck in that stupid town with that happening. It's nuts. But in August of 93, it's hot August. And we're going to exhume the body.
They finally decided to do that. Yeah.
I mean, this is
the
crazy.
Parents, there's it's a involved process.
25-year-old body is being exhumed.
Oof. That's why I say I can never be.
I don't even think there's anything. I don't think there's any smell left. It's 25 years.
Well, I read something that they said the body was actually pretty for a 25-year-old corpse.
That's
pretty
interesting.
Well served.
Because when they did do that, when they exhumed the body, it reveals knife wounds. And I'm thinking, how? Like,
well, and I also read that, the morticians, they actually noticed those knife wounds, but they just assumed that they had happened, like they saw the gash wounds, but they assumed they had happened in the car accident.
See,
and didn't question them.
Here's the thing, like, let's just devil's advocate. Let's say he smashes into the tree, right? And he bashes his head on the window. He's not wearing a seatbelt. It's 1968.
Mm-hmm. I mean, are they common in all vehicles at that point?
Well, I had a 1966 Beetle, Volkswagen Beetle, and from the factory did not have seatbelts. Yeah.
Interesting.
But 68 American car, probably, I don't know. I'm not sure. But either way, he was definitely not wearing a seatbelt. Nobody was wearing seatbelts until like the late 90s anyway.
So, but when the body was exhumed, it was actually autopsied by a proper medical examiner and a forensic pathologist. And he found the wounds, and he claims the wounds were consistent with a knife wound. They wouldn't have been made because of the damage that was done to his, the lack of damage, because I guess wounds on a neck could happen during a car accident, but the lack of damage to the vein, to the arteries, it didn't suggest that.
Yeah, because I was saying, let's say his head hit the window, and it didn't have safety glass back then either. So the glass would be a lot of shards. So I could imagine.
Did the windshield break? Do we know that?
Yeah, we don't. I mean, the reenactment, it didn't.
It didn't in the no.
But unfortunately, there's no photos. We don't even know what happened to the car. We're probably guessing they towed the car and scrapped it.
Yes.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, we don't know what happened to the car. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't have any information. It's just, we have nothing. We have nothing to go on.
They were able to conclusively prove that, the car accident, the injury he sustained in the car accident did actually kill him.
And Do you know if the mom was still alive at this point, right? I mean, she passed away, was it 2019?
I don't recall. I know the father passed away in 2003.
Yeah, and then I think she got remarried, believe it or not. I could have sworn I read that
no
somewhere.
Kidding.
I don't know this for sure, but I think that's the case. Either way, so both parents are alive to learn that it was not a suicide, which, it's kind of like bittersweet because it's like, well, he's still dead. It's like, well, what happened?
It's not, no, but it's a little bit. Well, I hope it was somewhat of a relief to hear.
Unfortunately, nothing ever comes of this to today.
Yeah.
It
seems like the police didn't want to investigate it still.
Yeah, it just doesn't. There's there's nothing. What do you think happened? Like, what do you think was the exact what am I thinking of? Like, what transpired between everyone?
What I think happened is there was a tense argument that he wanted to, that he just was like, all right, let me just leave. And he just got up to go out to his car after the fact. And somebody was probably drunk and went outside to finish the argument, stabbed him. And then he just tried to flee the scene from his attackers and was in such excruciating pain that not long after he drove off, lost control of his vehicle and hit a tree.
Yeah, I'm really mostly in line with this. I think he had got into a fight with one of Patty's relatives, of course, and things got really heated. And Leroy's like, I'm out of here. And he's like, you're not going anywhere.
Yes.
It's maybe a fight. The guy pulls out a knife, stabs him in the jugular. That's what I'm thinking. Or
yes, because he severed his windpipe. The 4-inch gash severed his windpipe.
And probably Leroy freaked out, as all of us would, and jumped in the car
panicked
and floored it, trying to get away and to get to safety. And the blood is just pouring out, and he loses consciousness. Boom, right into the tree. And he just bled out. That's what I think.
That's what I think happened, yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's just lazy police work.
Yeah, it's kind of like, if something's going to happen, try not to do it on a holiday. It's
But I don't know. Do you think local politics played into this? You think the girlfriend's family, Patty's family, was maybe in good with the cops? Were the cops low-manned? I've also seen the theory bandied around that maybe they just didn't have the budget, or they didn't want to spend the money to investigate the case.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know about how connected Patty's family was, but what I definitely know is that the police did not look at the case with like a critical eye, and they just dropped the ball and let it happen.
And unfortunately, somebody got away with, well, basically murder.
Right. At least manslaughter, because it's
bare minimum.
I probably could have argued it out of, like, well, he didn't intend to kill him. It was just heated.
He stabbed, and they could say, well, the stab wounds didn't actually kill him.
Right. It was like the accident.
It was the blunt force trauma to when he crashed into the tree, but probably wouldn't crash into the tree if he wasn't stabbed.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of... Whoever was involved in a normal court of law would at least do some prison. I think, anyway. You never know these days. But I don't know. That's exactly what I think this whole thing is. Some people were like, well, maybe the entire thing was staged. Maybe they murdered him and staged the whole thing. I'm like, that sounds very difficult.
That's a little far-fetched. I can't say impossible, but no, this, some people might say, well, maybe he did actually commit suicide, but I think that is very...
It's unlikely, I think.
I think highly unlikely. The behavioral patterns, there was nothing in his life that suggested that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's where it is this is an unsolved mystery. I thought that
it doesn't have to be it never had to be an unsolved mystery. That's the frustrating thing about this. It's but true crime shows. Sometimes I think there are definitely cases that, and on unsolved mysteries as well. There are definitely a lot of cases on unsolved mysteries that are exaggerated. Like you did an episode on the Ruby and Arnold case where they were in North Dakota or like one of the Dakotas and they flipped over in the car and their bodies weren't found.
Right.
Yeah. See that case, I didn't think there was anything more to, and there's a couple other cases where we're on the show. I don't think there was anything more to this case. I think the family is completely justified in chasing this down. And it's cases like this that should be discussed because the police totally dropped the ball on this one.
But I don't know if Vickie's still out there, but if she ever hears this, we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Go over to stillunsolved.com. And, but Diana, I want to thank you so much for doing this. I do want to mention one little side note that,
sure.
So Laura Crook, I've mentioned her in the past. You've heard the episodes. Today would have been her birthday. So May 17th is when we're recording this. I don't know what year she was born. So I don't know how old she would be.
Shout out to Laura. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And I reached, I was going back and forth with her dad, Graham, and they, every year, of course, they miss their daughter. And, that's just a huge, huge tragedy. But it really reminds me of how dedicated and how wonderful Laura was on the show, and how I was just going to wrap it up. And I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to keep moving forward. And luckily enough, a number of people reached out to me to do the show, you included. And the show is continuing, and every once in a while we'll bring up Laura because she's such an important part of this show's history.
Her legacy lives on.
Yeah, absolutely. But Diana, I want to thank you so much for doing this tonight. I do appreciate it.
Tonight we have been confronted with an entire catalog of unexplained and unsolved events. Tune in next time as Unsolved Mysteries Rewind discusses another collection of unsolved mysteries. Until then, we can only look and wonder.